here.
Exactly. I don't know why
There
my
he's back.
students are shy. Here we have Juan. Say hi, Juan.
Hello.
Nice uniform.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Juan, could you stand? Is it possible for you to stand for us to see your school uniform?
Nice. Very
Yes.
nice. You look like businessman.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any others to come on, guys? Let's turn on your cameras. We can't have our guests being one of the few persons with his cams on.
Don't be shy. I don't bite. Hi, Aiden. How are you? Shemaya
I'm fine.
Johnson. Who more is coming? I want to see the Iron Man. There is an Iron
Iron
Man
Man is
around
a
here.
Shima. Is that a Shima?
Yeah. Rian Retemaya. I only see your roof.
Yeah. Don't be shy, guys. Do not be shy. It's a
Uh,
safe space. I know many of you have your cameras working.
Shima, the Iron Girl. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Welcome. Good accent, huh? You have very good English accent.
Thank you.
Okay, there was a question there about, let me see how the questions.
All right. So first of all, if you have any questions on Rio, Brazil, please raise your hand
There is
and
one
I'll
here.
call on you.
Balaram. I have heard a lot about crime in Brazil. How bad is it really from the perspective of a person who visited? Yeah, it's bad, and it's also bad in Georgetown is also dangerous at some point. For example, in the city center, I was in nearby this Starbucks market. This place, like at night, is not safe. So it's, let's say it's similar to Starbucks market. It's but here it's a bit more, how to say, it's bigger, so there's more people and there's more criminality. There's more but it's, yeah, it's a problem of the South America culture of criminality. It's like this everywhere. But if you know, like, I've not been robbed for the last time I was robbed, I was 14 years old in Brazil, and now I'm 32. So if you know how to walk here, you know where to walk, like, you will be fine. You just need to be aware, or if you're visiting, just meet some local person that knows the city.
Awesome. Awesome.
Food recommendations. We eat rice and beans. It's our main dish. So we basically eat rice, beans, and some meat or French fries. Or if you come to Brazil, you need to eat rice and beans.
All right. Any other questions for France as it relates to Brazil? Before we go into his world travels, France has visited 121 countries in the world.
Crazy.
Yeah. All right. France, what is the education system like in Brazil? Do students learn English in school?
No, uh, more or less. So I did learn English. I did the English course. I was fortunate that my parents paid me English course.
Okay.
But some schools, they do have English, but it's not so good. So in the past, there used to be no English in the schools. Nowadays, they start to have English in the schools, but still people don't really learn in the school. It's very hard for them to learn. Yeah.
All right.
Not a
How
lot of
many?
people speak English here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. How many languages do you speak?
Four fluently. So basically English, Spanish, Portuguese, and German.
All right. Awesome. All right. So France had actually gotten some of the questions we have beforehand, so he would be prepared. And France, I think it would be great for us to start some
I
of
can
those.
follow the questions and answer them. I have
Sure.
already all prepared.
All right. Great. And if anybody has a follow-up question at any time, just raise your hand and France will be more than happy to answer.
Yeah, so I will start with the first one. What made you decide to become a world traveler? So basically, everybody has a different reason to do that. So my reason it's because I was working in a company about 20 hours per day. So it was a bit too much. I was sleeping 1 hour. I was in a very unhealthy lifestyle. And the first moment, I decided I wanted to make like a 1 year trip just to figure out what I would do with my life and how I would follow with my life. So I quitted my job and I went to do this 1 year world trip. But the problem is that when I started traveling, I discovered many new things because when you travel, you open your mind, you broaden your view of the world. And then I say, why don't I? How can I continue this trip? So in this way, I discovered ways to work overseas. So I did a work visa in Australia, and then I lived for 1 year in Australia, and then I had enough money to travel again for 2 years without working. And then I continued, and then I worked in a cruise ship, and then I traveled 1 year without working. And then after, I worked in a ski resort, and then I continued discovering ways to keep me on the road. And I changed completely the way I travel. So I don't do this normal, and I go straight to the next question, which is expensive to travel? It's a very good question.
Yes, because there's a misconception that you are loaded.
Yes,
You're
exactly.
very wealthy. You're a rich man.
Exactly. That's
with
the thing.
money.
So
Okay.
going on vacation, the way we go on vacation is expensive. Why? Because normally when you go on vacation, you buy a plane ticket, return to a very far place. So it starts that this plane ticket is expensive. And then you pay hotels. And then you go to tourist attractions. And then you eat in restaurants. But traveling doesn't need to be expensive. A vacation is expensive because you have a very short time. So we have, for example, 15 days. And you need to fill these 15 days. And you need to do this trip. So when you have the time in your favor, you don't need to rush. So I don't need to take a plane to a very far place. I can go here next, and then I can go by land. So when I go by land, I save a lot of money. For example, I remember I was going to go from Kazakhstan to Mongolia. I checked the flight, it was $300. And then I checked if it was possible to go by land, and the bus was $30. So that means 10 times cheaper.
Wow.
So I saved, for example, $270 on this trip because I had time. So instead of doing this flight for like 30 minutes, I did a 48 hours bus trip, but $270 less.
Yeah.
And then there are other options also. I stayed in the house of local people. So I do couch surfing, which is a
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit more about couch surfing? Because I've done couch surfing, but I've never been a guest in somebody's house, but I've hosted people. And it's a concept that is mind blowing to a lot of people because they do wonder. I mean, how are you having strangers in your home, and is it safe? And I would never do this, but it's not that. It's a great way to travel and to learn about different cultures. So could you tell us what really is couch surfing?
Yeah. So basically, Couchsurfing is a community of people. There are about, I wrote the amount. I think it's about 12 million people in this community in about 200,000 cities. So there are people that that just want the cultural experience or the cultural exchange. So the reason why people host and people stay in their houses are different reasons. And the thing with the safety, there is a system of references. So if you have more references, you are safer. So for example, my profile, I have 164 references. So 30 of them, it's because I hosted people in my house and I received a reference. And about 100 of them, it's because I stayed in somebody's house. And I have 100 people saying that I was a good guy. So you feel a bit safe when you see 100 people said that I'm a good guy, what's the point I would do something bad? Because I don't want to destroy my profile. I have 100 references. I built it in 4 years. So of course it's hard for people who are starting. They don't have references, but there are some ways to get references. Like, you don't only need to host or to be hosted. You can also meet foreigners, for example. Or I can even, if since you have a profile on Couchsurfing, I can give you a reference. Oh, I was invited for an interview with the kids or something like that. He's a good guy, or it's already a reference. So it's a trust community. Of course, there's always the risk, as many things, but it's something that is built.
Yeah. It's definitely a way to travel cheaper, but it also gives you an experience that you will not find in a hotel. Because
Yes.
usually, if you go to an all-inclusive resort, sometimes the resort, they pick you up from the hotel and you're shielded from the local culture.
Yeah.
So when you interact with local people, you have a better
Experience.
experience. You can
Yeah.
immerse yourself in the culture.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there is another question. What advice would you give someone who wants to start traveling but is afraid? So being afraid is completely normal. So when I started, I was also afraid because I was quitting my comfort zone, my job, everything I had, and I was going into something completely different. So you are afraid because you're going to something new. So if you go into something new, you need to adapt yourself. To reduce the feeling of uncertainty, so this, to be afraid, what's the best thing is to do is to study about the place you're going, to study about the people, to study about the culture. So for example, you are in Guyana, you're very near Suriname. You could just cross the border and travel in Suriname. So but before you go there, you can study how they are. You can study a bit of Dutch, you can study a bit of manners or anything. So when you get there, you have already an idea of what to expect. So you don't go 100% of surprise.
Okay.
Or for example, if you go to French Guyana, you should learn a bit of French before. So you don't cross the border and you're lost because everybody's speaking French to you. So as more you know about a place before you get to the place, as more confident you are to travel on this place.
How important is it to know the language of the place you intend to travel to? If I don't speak Portuguese or French, would I have a very difficult time, or do you think I'll be able to manage?
So it depends. Nowadays, it's getting easier and easier because of Google Translate and because of data mobile. So if you don't speak a language at all, and if you have internet and you have a Google Translate, you're already halfway. So the only country that I really had a problem was China. I had a really communication issue because over there I didn't manage to get internet everywhere, and so the translator was not working, and 90% of the Chinese don't speak English at all. So it was really challenging for me to travel in China. But instead of that, other places were fine. But if you speak, for example, Portuguese or Spanish or languages from the countries you're visiting, it helps you to save money. Because when they see you don't speak the language, they will rip you off. They will try to charge you more. And if you speak the language, it will be cheaper for you. So this is the big trick. I mean, you will survive, but maybe you will pay a bit more because you don't speak the language.
Have you ever been denied entry into a country?
Oh, there's so many new questions here. Never denied, no.
Okay.
No. So how many languages they speak in Brazil? The official language is Portuguese. So basically only Portuguese. Have you ever hitchhiked across a country? Yes, I hitchhiked more than 10,000 kilometers. I hitchhiked in Africa, in Australia, in Japan, in Myanmar, in Ecuador, many, many places. The only thing I don't like about traveling is the flight. My ear hurts so bad when the plane takes off. It's about to land. I cry because not even gonna have. Yeah, so don't take flights. You are in Guyana. You can travel entire South America by land. You can only take buses. You don't need to fly.
Yeah.
So I actually crossed all the way from Peru to French Guiana by land. So I went
Wow.
from Peru to Ecuador, Ecuador, Colombia, Colombia, Venezuela, Venezuela, Guyana, Guyana, Suriname, Suriname, French Guiana, and then I took a bus from French Guiana to Brazil. I did everything by land. I didn't took any plane. So this helped me to save a lot of money.
Yeah. And there are international bus stations in Brazil. There are many international bus stations. So you hop on a bus and basically you connect with other buses, but you could travel many places in South America from
you
Brazil.
You can go from Brazil to Uruguay. You can go from Brazil to Bolivia by land. You can go from Brazil to Paraguay, everything by land.
Yeah. Sounds like a road trip, right, guys? Are we up for that road trip?
Yeah, to go to Brazil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I know. I would certainly love that kind of experience.
Yeah. So let's see more questions. What have you learned?
Don't be shy raising your hand and asking a question so we could
Here,
hear you as well.
Is it a good question? Is it safe to hitchhike? So this is very relative. So I think safety, it also depends on your behavior. You have to have a precautious behavior. So safety is relative because even going out of your house is not safe. For example,
I think we have some internet problems.
Now it's back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Your video was stopped for a few seconds. Okay, so you can take some precautions to act more safe. For example, I never hitchhike alone. The first thing, if I will hitchhike, I will hitchhike with someone else, me and a person, and then I go into a car. Second, why eyes looking at the driver? If the driver wants to do something to me in the front, there will be somebody on the back to help me. Or if the driver wants to do something in the back, there's somebody in the front to help. So it gives the more power to you in information about the car. So I would send the plates, the car color, the car type, from where I'm going, from where I'm leaving, where I'm going, and what time I will arrive. So if I don't message them the time I'll arrive, they can call the police. I also choose. If I see, once I was in New Zealand hitchhiking and I saw the guy and I saw he was not good intention, I said, no, I give up. I'm not hitchhiking anymore. I go somewhere else. I changed my mind. I didn't enter the car because I looked at the guy.
How could you tell
Intuition.
he had no good intent? Oh, intuition?
Intuition, yeah. When you travel, you gain intuition. Because as more you travel, as more people you meet, as more behaviors you understand. And I could see in his eyes, So
do you think that two hitchhikers might make someone reluctant to pick them up?
Maybe yes. Yeah.
Instead of one,
But for example, if you are a couple, it was me and my girlfriend, and we were looking like a cute couple, then it's okay. Possibly two big guys, they won't take,
Yeah.
But
okay.
It depends. Everything can happen, but hitchhiking, it's an experience. Nowadays I don't hitchhike that much as I used to. In the past, I used to hitchhike a lot, but since I'm getting older, it's tiring also. Traveling this way, it's very tiring. It's not easy, so it's challenging. Sometimes I wait 4 hours under the sun to get a car, to save maybe $10, and then I was like, fuck, it's like so much work for $10, and then sorry, I used the bad word. So it's difficult.
Do you
There's more questions here.
Okay.
You want to ask something about the questions, or?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask, have you ever been afraid of being stranded?
Yeah, I answered this question. No, only once I had a motorbike accident in Tanzania, and I flew to South Africa and I stayed in South Africa for a month. But I chose to be stranded because I needed to heal my wounds. But
Okay.
and one time also in the pandemics, I was working in Austria, and I flew back home. But almost I lost. They closed everything. They closed the city. They closed the airports, and I almost didn't manage to come back home. But I never had any other situation.
All right. So I
But
guess you don't hitchhike in the night, like you're out late in the night
no,
waiting. You don't do that.
never ever hitchhike at night. No, it's completely unsafe.
Okay.
Only once I arrived at night, but I picked up the car in the morning. Yeah, never hitchhike at night. So let's see. What's the most interesting thing you have encountered of any of your trips? It's difficult to answer because I saw many interesting things. So I think it also depends on what kind of things you like.
Yeah.
So there's not a real answer for that. But for example, one very interesting thing was 2 years ago I was in Mongolia, and they have eagle festival. They are white and they have eagles, and they hunt, and it was very interesting to meet the eagle hunters, these people who take care of eagles. And I even hold the eagle in my hands. It's like 7 kilos, very heavy bird.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Uh, I don't want to
I,
show suspicious, but which part of the world are you right now? Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Have you ever went to Peru? If so, was nice? Yes, I was in Peru, I think 3 times. It's nice. They have very beautiful mountains. They have a very cold beach, and Machu Picchu, all these very cool places. Yeah. And Chile, what's like? I've heard it's very cold since it's close to Antarctica. Yeah, the south of Chile is cold, but the north of Chile is okay. I was also in the Atacama Desert in Chile, and
that's
some
the
other.
largest desert in South America.
Hmm?
Yeah, I think that's the largest desert in South America.
Could be. How has COVID affected your travels? Oh, a lot, because I'm not traveling for almost a year now. So basically, I flew home and I'm waiting because I always considered traveling, but to travel in my lifestyle, my way I travel, it's not possible because I will spend a lot of money with PCR tests. So every country, I need to spend at least $100 with PCR tests, and I cannot travel now with COVID by land. Many land borders are closed. You can only fly. So I would need to take a lot of flights, and then would be too much money. So I will not be traveling the next months until I get vaccinated, until everything gets good. Do you have multiple passports? Yes, I have two, a Brazilian passport and a German passport. Yes, please speak if you are able to instead of typing. Okay, that was you. Yeah, that's true. You guys should speak instead of typing. You guys are shy?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why these kids are shy. What's happening, guys?
I
It's
want to
not
hear
every day
I want to
we
hear
get to
your
interact
voices.
with the globe trotter. So let's speak.
Yes, next question, please don't write. Only talk.
All right. Could I ask? I'm gonna put Priyanka Kumar on the spot. Priyanka, I know you sent in your question, but could you please speak and ask your question out loud for France? One of your questions or two?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Sure.
I want to see you. I see only a
Um,
P. I see only the P, the green P.
I will ask my question first, and I'll turn on my camera later.
No problem.
My question was one of my questions were that have you ever experienced xenophobia, and how did you deal with it?
Which one? Which phobia?
Xenophobia.
Like animals.
No.
Xenophobia. No. You mean yes. I have this question answered here. It's a
Yeah.
very good question. I did suffer, yeah. Xenophobia. So there was, for example, there are some problems with xenophobia around the world, and one was in South Africa. Actually, was almost racism, but they don't say racism because you cannot say it's racism with white person. But for example, in South Africa, white people don't like black people, and black people don't like white people. This is a very historical thing. There was an apartheid in the past, so the black people were completely separated from the white people. They could not take the same bus, and they could not stay in the same, use the same toilets. So there was a very complicated time in the past. So they created this hate between white and black in South Africa, and mostly the white are rich and the black are poor. And when I was there, for example, I was taking the local transport because it's the way I travel. I was always taking the local transport, and there was only black people on this local transports. And they were looking at me like complaining, why are you taking our space here? Why are you taking this transport? Because, go take your car, or, they look at me like I'm a white person from South Africa, and they don't like. But then I was explaining I was a traveler, I was from Brazil, and they were okay. And a similar thing happened when I was in a party in South Africa, and the guy come to me and he wanted to fight with me, and he said, no, you are white, you're not supposed to be in this party. Get out. And I also told him I was Brazilian, and everything was fine. I also have some things, it's also interesting, in Africa. In general, they called foreigners a word called mizungo. Mizungo means ghost due to the white color. So if you are a foreigner and you're traveling in Africa, they will call you mizungo, mizungo, which means ghost, ghost, because you're white. And this is something it's very strong in the culture. It's there. They've been doing this for years, and the kids learn since they're kids that they should call white mizungos. But I think this is a kind of prejudice. But it's like how it is. But besides these two situations, I don't remember having any other problems. But for example, if I would be an Islamic person, or if I would be Arab person, I definitely would have suffered a lot of more xenophobia in Europe, for example, because they don't like, there's a lot of immigration now, and they don't like that these people are coming here. Yeah, it's very complicated.
And it's sad because apartheid ended in the 1990s. We all know Nelson Mandela was democratically elected as president, but even though apartheid ended and there's no laws in place for racial segregation, the effects of it are still being felt in South Africa.
It's very sad. Very sad. So Priyanka, where are you now? I want to see you. You told me you would show me your face.
Just a second.
You're brushing your hair, right?
It's okay. You can say that. You can say that.
My hair is not so brushed. So next question.
Two hands are up. Shoshana, I think your hand is up, and then Rian. Go ahead, Shoshana.
Okay, good afternoon. I would like to ask, what is your favorite food from all the countries you've been to?
Oh, very difficult also.
Because if I wanted to travel, I would most likely want to eat all the food they have there.
Okay. So it's difficult because I'm not crazy about food, so I didn't prioritize so much. So one of my favorite food is stroganoff. It's actually originally from Russia, but they make in Brazil a different one. But I really like stroganoff. Pizza, I think everybody likes pizza. I don't know if somebody say I don't like pizza, it's very hard. So I would, oh, Priyanka, nice to meet you. Your hair is okay. Let's say I answered very basic things, like for example, mashed potato is one of my favorite foods. It's like so simple, but I mean sometimes simple it's better. If they make too much stuff, it doesn't get good. Rice and beans, it will be always my favorite food because it's something called the power of habit. You get used to something, and it's a habit. So for example, I don't know what's the typical dish in Guyana. Can you tell me what's the typical dish in Guyana? Like the most common?
Chicken curry.
Chicken curry. So, do you like chicken curry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you eat for your whole life chicken curry?
No, I
Not my
wouldn't.
No,
whole
I
life,
mean
but
once
like
Come
once
on,
per
we've been
month.
eating it for our whole lives.
I know, but you still like it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, if you stay, for example, 1 month without eating chicken curry, you go to Japan, you only eat sushi for 1 month. After 1 month eating sushi, you are crazy for chicken curry, right?
Mhm.
Yes, it's
Yes.
true.
So this is the thing. It's the power of habit. You you
Yeah.
you you learned this since you were a kid, and you're so used to this. You like it. I mean, if I stay long away from Brazil and I stay like 1 or 2 months without rice and beans, I go crazy. You know,
Yeah.
I need to eat rice and beans. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I'm not so like a food stuff. But I mean, if you want to have different food, the best place to go in the world is Taiwan.
Mm.
Taiwan, it's like where you can have try all sorts of food. It's like I've tried everything there. Seriously.
You had insects.
Hmm?
You had insects, grasshoppers.
Ah, yes, grasshoppers. But this was in Thailand. I had a cockroach, worms, all sorts of things. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
scorpions. Yeah,
Asian, like the parts of Asian world, they have a lot of exotic food. Like,
yes. China, they have a lot of exotic food as well. But Taiwan is the best place if you like food. It's the best place to do food travel because they have markets, street markets at night, and it's all about food. And they have a lot of the street markets, and it's really, really interesting.
Where has the is it a boat market? It's in
What?
Asia. You travel by boat and there's a market.
Ah, there is a
It's
boat
a
market in
floating
Thailand.
market.
Yeah, floating markets in Thailand.
Yeah, floating
Yeah,
markets.
yeah.
All right.
There is also a floating market in Myanmar. It's very nice.
Oh,
Yeah, there are a few floating markets in Asia. Yeah.
all right. Rian, go ahead with your question, Rian.
Leon?
All right.
He,
No.
he went to the toilet.
I think Priyanka has another question. Yes, go ahead, Priyanka.
I was gonna ask when you said that you ate insects before, would you say they have like a specific taste, and are they similar to any food you've eaten before?
Yeah. The worms, they taste like peanuts. The grasshoppers, they taste like shrimps. And the other ones, they're not really specific taste. Like more like some grilled things, not really a taste. Yeah. But it's edible.
All right. Thank you, Priyanka. Now we have Rian. Are you there now, Rian?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
What?
Have you been to London, England? If so, have you been to the Buckingham Palace?
I didn't. I went to London 3 times, I think, but I didn't enter the Buckingham. I only took a picture in front of it because I thought it was too expensive to enter. It was not worth the money. And also, for example, I've been to every country in Europe, but Europe for me it's not the best. It's like for me it's the most boring part because Europe is very easy to travel. Of course, you have culture, you have history, you have a lot of things. It's nice, but for me, what excites me the most is when it's challenging, when it's different, when I see something I'm not used to. And Europe, it's like it's easy. You go there, you take the bus, you take the train, you have all the transports ready, you have everything ready for you. So it's very easy. It's not challenging, and that's everybody wants to go to Europe, but I mean, I think Guyana is better, than going to London.
Did you? I think that deserves some applause in the chat. Guyana is better than going to Europe.
Yeah, let's talk about Guyana. Actually, I wrote something here. Let me find. Um, Gritty. I wrote about Guyana. Okay, so what's your impression of Guyana when you visited? There we go. There's already the question. Hangjiv Babulao. Can I see your face? And can you ask me with the face?
My camera
Ranjiv?
doesn't work, sir.
What?
My camera doesn't work.
Ah, you are in the toilet as well, huh? Okay, can you
Yes,
ask me
sir.
the question? I just want to hear
How
your
was your
English.
experience in Guyana?
Okay, so I really enjoyed my short time in Guyana. I crossed from Latam to Georgetown, so I was in Venezuela, and then I took this 3 days trip from Venezuela to Guyana. It was like a nightmare. And then I got to Latam, and then from Latam to Georgetown. I was very impressed with the wooden churches. I think it's really an asset, a really interesting thing that's only in Guyana, like the biggest churches, the wooden churches, and it's really impressive how they are still there. I was very happy with the hospitality of people. I made a lot of friends on the street. I even remember talking to a shoe seller in the street for 2 hours. There was this guy nearby the Starbucks market, and we just started to chat. He was selling shoes on the street, and I talked to him for 2 hours. It was very nice. I also remember climbing the watch in Starbucks market. So I talked to some locals, and they said it's possible to climb the watch to the top. So I entered the market. Yes. This is something you get with
Do you
locals.
do that? I've never heard of locals doing that.
Yeah, there we go. So I talked to a few people, and then they recommend me, if you want to go up this Starbucks market in the clock, you got to talk to this shop. They have the key of the door. And then I went there in the shop, and then I found the owner of this key, and then he come with me, and he opened the door of the stairs. And then I went up the stairs all the way to the watch in the Starbucks market. And there's a very nice view of the city center from there. Very interesting.
Right.
And something I was very impressed was the Splash Mint Creek.
Okay.
It was crazy. It's like somebody also told me like, you need to see that place. And I went on a weekend. It was, I think, a Saturday or Sunday. It was
Busy.
so full of people, so busy. Yeah, but it was funny to see like how the local people enjoy their life, enjoy their weekend, and yeah, this kind of things that I really enjoy to see as a local. Like, for example, a tourist that go to Guyana as a tourist, he will not go to Splash Mint Creek, you know? Like, he maybe not even know this place. He will just stay in the city center of Georgetown and finish, you know? He will, and I went there the traditional way. I took this local transport. So I just go in the Starbucks market, get one van, and then get another van, and I get there, you know? Like, they explain me how it works, and I just go there. But like a normal tourist will only stay in the city centers, see 3 or 4 churches, and go home by plane from the airport. You know.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so a question from Zadkiel and then Juan. So go ahead, Zadkiel.
So what was it like? What was it like traveling through countries and like the time zones of different countries are different. How was it like adapting to those different time zones?
So the big thing with the time zone is if you take the planes. So basically, I take one plane to get somewhere, and from there I will explore the entire continent by land. So I don't have problem with time zones. So I would just have a problem the first day and then finish, because then I would just travel by land, and then by land you have only 1 hour, 2 hours difference. So never problem.
Oh, okay.
But there are some tricks. If you're gonna take a lot of planes, there are some drinks, special water, medicines. There are all sorts of things that help you with time zone.
Oh, interesting. All right, Juan, go ahead.
When you visited Guyana, did you get a chance to visit the Kaiju Falls?
No, I skip it because it was expensive. So I looked at the possibilities, I looked at the logistics, and I looked at the pictures. And also the thing is, since I travel a lot, I've seen a lot of similar things. So if you was going to spend, I don't know, $300 more just to see waterfall, I say no, it's not worth, because I've been to Victoria Falls, the Brazil. How do you call this falls in Brazil? Foz do Iguaçu Falls. I've been to so many falls, like huge ones, you know, and that's like
All
to go
right.
to a fall to spend $300 more. I make the calculation and say no, I'm not going. That was like a
I do
decision.
agree with you that it's expensive, but let me just say that it is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I know. I believe.
It is
I
pretty
believe.
impressive.
I
And
believe. I believe. I
yeah,
believe. I'm not saying it's
okay,
not
good.
or it's not, but it's about priorities.
Yeah, I
So, for
do.
example,
I
if I will
understand.
spend $300 to just see one waterfall for one
Yeah.
day, and this money I could travel for 3 weeks somewhere.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's
priority.
a trade-off. It's a
Yeah.
trade-off. I need to
I understand.
travel the way I travel. I need to choose. I need to choose
Mhm.
things. If I would do every tourist attraction from every country, I would be bankrupt. I cannot travel the way I travel. So it's priorities. So I look at the pictures. I see, oh yes, it's nice, but it's a waterfall. I've been to 159,000 waterfalls, and I've been to huge ones.
Wow.
You know, I've been to waterfalls in Iceland. They're like fucking amazing, crazy,
All right.
unbelievable. Yeah. Sorry for the
Yeah.
word again.
Just be mindful because yeah, it's PG-13
Yeah.
minor students, so we
Sorry
gotta
for the
be
word again.
careful.
Yeah,
Yeah. The last thing I want is a parent to ask me what's going on.
yeah. No
All
problem.
right. Yeah.
It was quick. Nobody heard.
All right. Next question, please. Next question. Devesh asks, do you have GoFundMe's? Like,
What?
do you have people who fund your travels?
What?
There's a platform called
Ah,
GoFundMe.
no, I didn't create it. I didn't create it yet. No. I will create it and I send you the link.
All right. Do we have any other questions? Because I know Franz has other questions that were sent to him earlier.
Yeah, I have a few here. I can go for, have you traveled someone dangerous? So danger is very relative again. So there are different types of violence and different types of danger. So you have armed robbery, terrorism. For me, one of the most dangerous places I visit is Rio de Janeiro.
Really?
It's my hometown, yes. But since I know how to live, and since I know how to live here, I don't get robbed. But I think it's very dangerous. But for example, I also visited Iran. Iran is a place where people say, "Oh, Iran, terrorism, and this and that." And for me, Iran is one of the safest places in the world to travel, because it's just they think Iran is dangerous, but it's not really. It's just the image the media wants you to have about Iran. And for example, Iran is actually my favorite country. And that was one question, what's your favorite country? And the reason it's because of hospitality, because of kindness of the people, because of the impressive architecture, the culture, and there are many reasons why Iran is my favorite country.
Nice.
I have more. Yeah, I still have more, like 5 or 6 questions here. Does anybody wants to?
Oh, Priyanka's hand is up. Go ahead, Priyanka.
My question was, have you ever participated in any of the nation's observances?
Ah, yes, it's here. You mean observances is like some holiday or parade or something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so many I participated. And I remember one in China. There was a big parade. So the president, he closed all the factories from China, from nearby Beijing. He closed the factories for 1 week so that we could see blue sky on the day of the parade. So for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, there was no blue sky in China, only gray. And then on this day of the parade, the sky was blue. It was like really, really impressive.
Wow.
And
That says a lot about the pollution.
yes, it's very polluted in China. Yeah. And I participated in many, many events. In Myanmar, I was also in the city of Sagaing. There was like a 100 years anniversary of Sagaing and people dancing. And yeah, I participated in many events around the world. It's very nice because it gives you different. I was also in the Eagle Festival in Mongolia. It's very, very interesting. And many other stuff.
Nice. All right. Do we have more questions in the chat?
Now we have GoFundMe, so funding scheme. I have other question I received, very easy to answer. What do you do in long flights? So I normally watch movies or sleep, nothing special. And also, which airline makes the experience most enjoyable for you? And I answer the cheapest. That's the most enjoyable for me, because that's when I
The
don't
cheap.
spend money. And if I don't spend money, I can travel for long.
Yeah. You spent a few weeks on a remote island in
Tonga, yes.
Tonga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about that experience? I mean,
Yeah.
it's basically just you and a few others.
Yes. This experience I found through a website called Workaway. So basically, they are looking for people to help them in exchange of food and accommodation. So I could stay there for free. I get food from them. And I helped them to build the eco resort in this island. So this island had like about 15 inhabitants, 15 people living there. It was a very, very big island. So to get there,
15?
15, yes, 1-5.
Wow.
And to get there, I need to take a flight from New Zealand to the capital of Tonga, then another very small plane from the capital of Tonga to an island, and then from this island, I take a car to the harbor, and then from the harbor, I take a small boat to get to this place. It was like 4 transports to get there. But it was very interesting because they live with rainwater, so there was no water from any source, only rain. So we used to drink rainwater.
No
Electricity.
rivers?
No rivers, nothing. It was an island in the middle of the ocean. And then they had solar panels, so the energy was coming from the sun, and it was 100% sustainable. Yeah.
Oh,
It's very nice. I learned about sustainability there.
that's amazing. Only 15 people on the island,
Yes,
students.
yes. A very big island, very, very big. Very beautiful. Nice. It's really like a remote beach.
But there's some questions in the chat. Balram, could you ask your question, please? Could we hear you asking your question, Balram?
Sure, sir. My question was, where do you see yourself settling down in the future? Which country?
Can I see your face?
I'm not in presentable condition at the moment.
You are in the toilet as well, huh? So, where is this selling myself? I consider selling myself in Dominican Republic because I did found a place, a very nice place there, but end up I didn't. The thing is that always when I try to settle, something happened and I move on. And this is something that's been happening to my travels. So I tried to settle in Tanzania. I was working as a manager in a hotel. And after 3 months, I had the motorbike accident. And then I need to leave. And then I tried to settle in Munich, and I almost get a very good job there. And then in the final interview, the guys give up. He didn't want to hire me. And then I continue. And then I tried to settle. Always when I try to settle, there's something that happened. In New Zealand, I was there. And then my sister got a baby, and I flew to Brazil. And so for now, I will stay here more half a year because in this situation of COVID, I cannot do much. But I think I will travel more 3 years before I will really settle. But some places I would settle, for example, would be Spain, Portugal, or Caribbean. Next one.
Do you, Maliha is asking, Maliha, could you go ahead and ask your question? Could we hear you?
One, raise the hand.
Do you ever plan to stop traveling, and if so, when?
Yeah, I was planning to stop at 35, but with COVID, I got 2 years delayed, so maybe 36, 37. I wanted to travel more 2-3 years, and I was good. Because in 2-3 years, I would see more or less 80 or 90% of the world, and then that's good.
Right. Okay, Chanel, go ahead, and then Devesh.
Is there any experience in a country that you didn't enjoy? And is there any country that you really don't want to go to?
It's a good question. Oh, I didn't enjoy my motorbike accident in Tanzania that I almost died. But it's part of the experience. And places I want to go to, it's very difficult. I actually want to go everywhere, but I cannot see any place I don't want to go to. Not really.
Have you been to like North Korea?
Not yet, but it's not difficult. It's just expensive. It's very easy to go there. You just need about $500. And the visa, a double entry visa in China. It's very easy. You go to China, but you have to have a double entry visa. So you get a double entry visa to
Don't touch
China.
anything.
Huh?
Don't touch anything.
What do you mean?
I've heard of instances where tourists go and sometimes they get themselves in trouble.
Yeah. Don't do anything you don't want, of course. But to go, you just need to get. There is a company that it's called PTI, and they do this for about $500 to $1,000. And you go from China, you take a train to North Korea, and then you go back by train to China because there's no way to cross from South to North Korea. It's closed.
Wow.
That's why you need to go via China.
Wow. All right. Devesh and then one.
So, can you say some of the landmarks you visited in Ghana, like opinions on them, and also any like cultural native, I don't necessarily know the right words, music that you took interest into, like music that was prominent in the country.
He's talking about Guyana, right?
Yeah. Devesh, I'll let Franz answer your second question because he basically spoke a little bit about the first question when he went to Stabrook Market and St. George's Cathedral. All right?
Yeah, I saw all the basic tourist attractions. I even sent you the link. Have you read the article? I sent you the link of the places I visited. And this I don't remember the names because it's been like I think 4 years I went there. So I don't remember details on the places. I remember the churches and the statue of the guy.
Coffee.
I don't know the name. Yeah, but that's this statue, this thing.
Yeah, Devesh is asking. Yeah, Devesh is also asking, do you enjoy the local music of the places you've been to?
Yeah, I do. But yeah, I remember hearing the local music in the vans, very loud. It's fun. Yeah, it's very Caribbean, right? Like Guyana is very Caribbean.
Yes.
It's Caribbean.
Very
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Juan. You have a question.
Have you ever been to Dubai? Because it's pretty expensive there.
Yes, I was in Dubai for 3 days.
Did you visit the Burj Khalifa?
Yeah, of course. I was on the top of it. Dubai, nothing exciting for me. Yeah.
France, you could go to the Burj Khalifa, but you can't go to Kaiju Falls.
Priorities.
I have a problem with that.
No, priorities. Okay, so Burj Khalifa.
Your priorities are wrong.
Burj Khalifa, it's the highest building in the whole world. It's a very, very, very unique.
The Kaiju Falls is the highest single drop fall in the world.
By
volume.
By the way, Burj Khalifa, it's only $35, and Kyoto Falls was $300, so 10 times more expensive.
All right. Okay, I hear you.
It's $35 to go there. It's cheap.
All right. I okay, good.
Anyway, but Dubai, I stayed in a hostel. I didn't manage to get couch surfing there. I paid $20 per night in a hostel, and I stayed 2 nights, I think. And I just
could you talk?
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, there's nothing interesting in Dubai. I mean, just a lot of big shopping centers and nothing that interests me. But I wanted to go to see because I've never been there, But not a place I'm like, oh, I want to go back to Dubai to see Burj Khalifa again, Never, ever. I don't need that,
you talk a little bit about what a hostel is? Because many of
Oh
my
yeah,
students are familiar with hotels,
yeah,
but a hostel is also a cheaper way of traveling.
yes. So basically, a hostel is a place where you can sleep in a room with other people, like a shared room. So basically, a room has 10 beds, and you pay much less than a hotel. For example, I would pay in Asia, you can pay $3 for one night in a hostel in a shared room because you share with other people. So if you would pay for a private room, you would pay 10, 20 in Asia.
Is
It's
it
a
like
bit strange.
carpooling but for like hotels?
I think somebody's talking. Can you repeat, please?
Is it like
Devesh, we're not hearing you.
is it like carpooling but for like hotels or?
Almost like that. Almost like that. It's basically the hotel. He takes a room and he put more beds, and then he sell the beds separately. So you sleep in the same room with strange people, people that you don't know, but it's safe. I mean, uh, and basically instead of charging for a private room, they would charge you for only for the bed. So if the private room is $30 for the bed, it will be $3 or $4. And in Dubai, I stayed in a hostel because a private room in Dubai is like $200, and I paid $20 for a bed in a shared room.
The thing about students, the thing about the hostel is that you go to a hostel just because you really want a place to sleep in the night. You're not there for any other kind of attraction or to have like a luxurious vacation. It's just somewhere when night comes, you know, you have a bed to sleep in because during the day you're pretty much out and about, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Detroit is asking in the chat, have you been to a pod hotel?
Yeah, in Japan.
All right, and those are like you want to tell us what that is like, a pod hotel?
Yeah, the Capsule Hotel. This is a concept that was created in Japan. So I went in Japan because it's the original one, and they have this since 1980. It's a very old concept, but it became very. All the places around the world they are copying it because it's a good way to make money because you don't need a lot of space, and you can put a lot of people. So hostels even are converting the normal beds into pods because they need less square meters and they can make more money out of it. So I stayed in one in Osaka in Japan. There were about 300 pods, 300 capsules, and it was very interesting. Like they have alarm inside, the TV, the air condition, everything is like, and you close and it's like a cabin only for you. It was very funny.
Okay. All right, so I'm reading one of the questions that was sent to you. What is the most bizarre rule that a country had?
Yeah, so the most bizarre rule the country had was in Iran. Women are not allowed to ride bicycle in the street. And they have much more bizarre. For example, women are not allowed to go into stadiums. Women are not allowed to sing in the street or dance in the street. So the Muslim religion in Iran, it's taken a bit extremist. It's almost like a dictatorship. So there are a lot of rules like that. And even men are not allowed to walk in the street with shorts, only pants. So if you walk in the street with shorts, the police will take you, arrest you. Yeah.
Oh, that's very, very interesting. I'm looking to see if any questions we've missed.
There's only one missing. Have you ever seen persons in poor living conditions and tried to help them if it was possible? So I did volunteer in a lot of places, including in Philippines. I was volunteering building houses for people that lost their house in the typhoon. So in the Philippines, there's the typhoon season, and typhoon comes and destroy. I hope everybody knows what's the typhoon, right? It's a common word there, right? And destroy everything. And then there's like a lot of villages, they have nothing and they don't have money to rebuild it. So I participated in some voluntary projects, whereas I could build the houses for these people. And some other volunteer I also did in Thailand. I volunteered as English teacher in Myanmar, in Thailand, and some other places.
Did you say teacher?
English teacher, yeah.
That's it. My bags are packed. I'm moving.
No, but
I'm
there was
leaving.
only for food and accommodation.
I don't mind.
Yeah, but if you want to make money as an English teacher, you go to China, you go to Japan, you go to South Korea, you go to Taiwan. Good places to make money as an English teacher.
Yeah, I do know some people who have gone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good places.
All right. Deborah has a question. Deborah, could we hear you speak, please?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my question was, what was your most exciting cultural experience in Guyana?
I think going to the creek. It was like the most different one.
Deborah, that's the creek at Splash Means.
Have you been there? Is it very a lot of people go there?
No, I've never been to Splash.
How come? How come?
Sir,
outside.
sir, you see, like, I've been to like Blackwater creeks, like in Linden and different places. So I don't think I'm missing the experience. I've just never been to Splash Mountain.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, Deborah, I don't think, did you go to Splash Means or the creek outside?
No, I've never went to Splash
Deborah,
Mountain.
France.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's the creek outside.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Tehran has a question. Go
I have
ahead,
a picture.
Tehran.
I have a picture in my Instagram. Later you can check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tehran.
Is it true that the OK sign is considered offensive?
I didn't hear it. Could you repeat, please?
We're not hearing you.
Is it true that the OK sign is considered offensive in Brazil?
What do you mean? The okay? This one? This one? This one?
The circle one.
Not in Brazil, other places. I mean, here in Brazil, if you are a diver, this is okay for a diver. This is international symbol. But yeah, if we want to make okay in Brazil, you would say this one. This is okay. This, yeah, can be something else. That what you're thinking. Yeah. I cannot say what it is.
Thank
because
you.
Then
Moving on.
the parents will complain.
All right. Have you ever camped? Have you ever pitched a tent somewhere? Because I know some
lot of places, yeah. Yeah, in India, in Australia, a few places. I don't like camping, but I did in Kazakhstan and in a few places. Always when I was in the nature, in Georgia, always when I was in the nature, I used to camp, yeah. But it's not my favorite thing. And it's a good way to save money in accommodation. It's a very good way.
All right. Priyanka has another question. Go ahead, Priyanka.
You said you went to India. What was your favorite part of going there?
India is very nice. I think it's very mixed. So different in every part of India. But my favorite part was the north. It's a city called Dharamshala. It's actually where the Dalai Lama lives. And I visited the temple of Dalai Lama, but he was not there. When I went there, he was in the US. And it's a very peaceful city. So it's a Buddhist place. It's a very peaceful. It's not like Delhi, which you hear a lot of horns, like a lot of noise and things. And I really enjoy Dharamshala in the north. It's on the bottom of Himalayas. It's a very beautiful place as well. Any more questions?
Tehran, is your hand up again? Do you have another question?
I think he didn't put off before.
All right. Speaking of traveling, you're from Brazil, which is the fifth largest country in the world. Have you seen all of Brazil? Have you
Almost.
traveled extensively?
Almost. There are 24 states in Brazil, and I've been to 20 of them. So it's pretty much 90%, something like that. Yeah. I still miss some places, but the places I miss are very, very far, very logistically hard to get. It's like Acre, which they even say is not Brazil, and some areas that are very, very far. But one day I will go there.
And did you first started out traveling locally before you made the move to?
I was lucky enough to work in a company that I could make a lot of business trips. So my company was paying for my trips, and I could enjoy a bit more after working. So that was very lucky because of that. So I did a lot of my travels before, yes.
Teacher is asking, have you met any scouts?
Yeah, many. Even now in Rio, I bought a sailing boat, and I have the ex-owner was a scout. Was an ocean scout, but I met scouts even in Brazil. I participated as a kid of some activity of them.
So do you sail as a hobby, or do you sail to different
Now I'm
places?
sailing as a work to make money here because I was working in Austria, then I came to Brazil, and I was not planning to stay so long in Brazil. So now I decided to work to earn money because I have experience, because I lived in a sailing boat as a crew in the USA, in Bahamas.
Nice. All right. One is asking, what's the next country you plan to visit?
So the last year, my plan was to stay 1 year traveling in Africa, but I skipped because it's a very complicated place to be traveling now. And this year I consider going to the Caribbean, but still borders are all closed. So for now, I have no clue. I need to wait because these two places, they have season to travel. So the season is from December to April. And if I'm out of the season, it's not good because there is the rain season. In the Caribbean, there is the hurricane season. And in West Africa, there's the rain season. So it's not possible to cross countries because all the roads are very muddy, a lot of mud. So for now, I don't know. Maybe I will go to Europe to work again somewhere, or I don't know. It's very difficult to know this scenario.
Listening to you speak, I do get the idea that you do a lot of research before you actually go somewhere.
Absolutely.
What is that like, and what are you really looking for?
Yeah, it's very important to research, for example, climate, the land borders, because sometimes it's difficult to cross a land border, or there are some requirements, different visa for land border than for flying. So it's always easier to fly in the country for the visa. If you go through a land, it's more difficult, but it's cheaper, so I choose the land. And the season is also important because some places they rain a lot, and the winter season and the rainy season, it's very difficult to travel in some places. I normally don't travel in the winter where is the place where there's a lot of snow or something like that. I rarely travel there because I take a lot of few things on the bag. So if I would go to like Mongolia in the winter, I would need a very, very big jacket. And yeah, a lot of things, culture, what to do, what not to do. These things with the symbols, it's also important. And yeah, a lot of things, a lot of things. So I can get there very prepared to go to be more confident.
All right. Amish has a question. I'm hoping Amish is gonna ask this question. Amish.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can ask. I was going to ask, what kind of birds do you see in Brazil?
What kind of what?
Birds.
Birds. Oh, very, 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 a lot of them. I mean, we have all sorts. It's a difficult question. But we have, for example, tucano. I don't know tucano in English. Toucan.
Toucan.
Toucan. We have parrots. We have a very big variety of birds here.
I can imagine. All right. Okay, we are going to wrap up unless anybody has any few remaining questions. We don't want to keep France too long. If you don't have any questions, do we have any other questions? I mean, it's not every day we get to speak to a world traveler. All right, Rayan, go ahead, and then Chanel.
Okay, good afternoon again. Just wondering.
Okay, we can't hear you.
A bit louder, please.
I'm just wondering about the culture in Brazil. Is it diverse or is mainly Christians?
So Rayan is asking about the culture
Yeah,
in
the culture
Brazil.
in Brazil. So our country is originally Catholic. So we were, when the Portuguese came here, we became Catholic. But nowadays it's very mixed. We have a lot of Protestant people because the Protestant church in Brazil grow very fast. We still don't have a lot, very few Muslim or Buddhist or other religions. So it's pretty much Catholic and Protestant. And about also, it's a very different, the culture, every region is very different from each other. So the south of Brazil, it's more cold and the people are more European, they look more European. The northeast of Brazil, it's actually where all the slaves came in. So it's 60% of the population in the northeast, they are black people. And it's a more cheap area, it's more hot, it's more hospitable. So, and then you have the north, which is where the indigenous people are. So you have a lot of forest, you have a lot of traditional indigenous culture. And then you have the southeast, which is where Rio, Sao Paulo is. So it's the financial capital, the businesses and the big cities. And you have the center of Brazil, which is where the farms are. So soy farms, cow farms, all kinds of agribusinesses. So every region of Brazil, it's like a different country. So every region has a different culture, different people, and different economy. Let's say we are 5 Brazil: South, North, Northeast, Central, and Southeast. These are like 5 countries in one. Did I answer your question?
Not sure. Did you answer this question already? What advice would you give someone who wants to start traveling?
Oh, yeah, the advice was to research a lot. That was the advice.
Yeah. Some of these questions were asked already.
Chanel.
Okay, Chanel, go ahead.
How do you decide how long to spend in a country? Do you like do it based on cost, or do you have a specific time that you'd like to stay in a country for, like a schedule?
Yeah, it's very flexible. So it depends on many things. And I always want to stay longer, but I also look at, for example, where I will stay, if I have hosts. So in Guyana, I only could find one host. So if I would have another host, I would stay longer. So, and the place I stayed was not so good. It was very dirty, and it was not a good experience. It was actually my only bad experience in couch surfing in the world. So
in Guyana?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I could not find place to stay. There was not many hosts there, and so I could not stay longer. That's the thing. So if I would find more places, I would stay longer. So I stayed enough time so I could see, like pretty much, I think I stayed about three or 4 days in Georgetown. And in these 3 or 4 days, I would stay the whole day exploring. So one day I stayed in the area of the center, and the other day I took that boat to the other side. From Starbuck Market, there's a boat. It goes to, what's the name of the place? The island, or There is a boat from the Starbuck market, from the pier. It goes to the other
Rica?
side. Could be. There is a
Sorry,
boat.
Sir, Breeden Hoop, sir.
Oh,
Huh?
Freedom Hope?
What he said?
Breeden Hoop.
Freedom Hope?
Could be. I know I took this boat and crossed to the other side. And then I walk around there. So I took this 4 days to see everything I could around. And I think I stayed 1 day in Latin or 2 days. But yeah, if I would find more places, like more couch surfing hosts, I would stay longer. But this is how it works. But it's very flexible. It's more like on the go, you know. If I see I saw, if I believe I saw the big part, the big picture, I would move on.
Wow.
But of course, if I can stay longer, I will always stay longer. For example, maybe I stayed a week in Guyana, but if I would find other places to stay, like in other cities, I would go to these other cities and stay there.
How did you go to Suriname? You took the
By
ferry
land.
from Guyana or from French Guyana?
Yeah, from Guyana. I went.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went by land, and then there's like this van, and then there's I cross. There's this small boat. These small boats. There are a lot of boats, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you went the backtrack route.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. All right. So I don't think we have any other questions, and it's been a really informative hour. France, is there
Yeah.
anything you want to ask my students?
Follow my Instagram if you have.
What's your
If anybody has
Instagram?
Instagram, follow
Yeah,
my
I do.
Instagram.
Yeah, some of them do.
It's France Explorer.
It's okay.
France Explorer. I can write here.
All right.
France Explorer.
I sent it to some of them. You know, that goes to show they don't read the messages I send.
I didn't wrote correct. It's the second one. And you guys can also check my website. You can also click on the advertisement. I get like 1 cent for click. If you click in the advertisement.
Oh, nice.
1 cent, 1 cent. Yoo-hoo.
1 cent. Yeah.
Yeah, I have everything. I have Instagram. I have
Yeah, you
YouTube.
have some new fans.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I never really make money on the content creation, which is very upset because I do have a lot of content, but I don't make money out of it. But I would like to in the future and one day maybe make some money out of it. Maybe I will create my GoFundMe profile.
Yeah.
Send it here. There we go.
All right. So.
Yeah, and I also have a book. I have a book in Portuguese, in Spanish, and in English.
I'm just putting this out there. I mean, I know there are many couch surfers in the world, but do you know about Juan and Laura from Argentina? They wrote a book. Juan and Laura. They're well-known couch surfers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wrote a book as well.
No, I don't know.
Juan Vallerini. His name is Juan Vallerini.
Okay.
Yeah, very popular. He was featured in the New York Times.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, and yeah, he actually stayed with my family for a few days because I did couch surfing in the past. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah, you should be doing couch surfing when I was there, and then I could do. I could go and do a personal interview with you.
Exactly. Next time, I hope that you come to Guyana again and you visit our school, Queen's College in Georgetown. We'll be more than happy to have you.
Cool, that's good.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right. So thank you so much on behalf of my students. I must say thank you for such a informative and enlightening session. It means a lot to us that you were able to join us and share so many great insights. We really appreciate it. And we wish you the well in all your future travels and endeavors. And we hope that you come back again to Guyana so that you will have not the worst couch surfing experience, but the best couch surfing experience.
Good idea. Good idea. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. Thanks for the questions, and I hope I inspired you a bit for your brilliant futures.
All right. Take care. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Thank you. I will turn off. Leave the
Sure.
car.
Yes. Goodbye, Franz.
I will wait everyone. 25, 24, 22, 20, 19, 16.
It's good seeing you, Aiden.
Alright. Thanks for the wonderful time.
Welcome. It's a pleasure. Okay, now we'll turn off. See you
Right,
guys.
goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye, guys.